What's up, everyone? Welcome to Simulation. I'm your host, Alan Sakyan. We are now going to be talking about conscious reality creators. We have the founders of Conscious Reality Creator joining us on the show. We have Elizabeth Jackson. We have Rick Paris. We have Grace Paris. We have Maverick Paris. And we have Andrew Thompson. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah.
I'm so pumped. I'm so pumped for this. And this is a follow-up from our first episode with Rick. And we actually did a deeper cut with Rick immediately after that episode. It was so good. So you guys can find those links in the bio below. Also, for those that don't know, Conscious Reality Creator is a process to change your paradigm to become self-determined and self-authored. And you can find the consciousrealitycreator.com link in the bio, as well as their YouTube channel, which has great content on it. Go and check it out, subscribe, check out those videos. All right, let's start things off by talking about Conscious Reality Creator from the perspective of set theory. What is set theory?
Rick can take that away.
Well, set theory is the idea that in order for you to have a complete understanding of a set, you have to get outside the set. And so the way sometimes I explain that is you're watching a football game from the stadium and say the quarterback throws a pass and a lineman barely touches it and then it goes to the middle linebacker, he catches an interception. Almost nobody on the field knows what just happened. They just know everybody's running the other way now. They don't realize that it was the lineman who tapped it that went here, that went there, right? So in the stands, you'll see all of that. You'll be able to see everything that transpires on the field. So in order for you to understand a set, you've got to be able to see the whole thing as it operates and be separate from that set.
Go ahead.
Yeah, and I was going to say, because you told me this when you had the thought on the phone a couple days ago, and it really, because what he's been teaching and what he taught us was how to get out of the paradigm that we're currently in, which I think a lot of people can recognize is coming apart and doesn't feel really good, right? There's like a paradigm shift occurring. So to understand this, that you have to leave this set. That's kind of how you described it to me, just from that simple idea. But most people are trying to put it in another way, people are trying to fix the problem within the system. You can't be in the system to fix the problem. You have to be leaving that system into a new system completely.
Right.
And a set, maybe you can just describe it a little bit more. Set's a paradigm, right?
Yeah, a paradigm is a set, or this is a set.
Mm-hmm.
Right now we're in a set, right? We're all sharing an experience, but people outside the set will be watching how they're related. Oh, Rick said that, and Elizabeth didn't really like it. I may not, right? It's like, so when you're outside the set, you've got a capacity to see the whole thing. So yeah, since I died, like a lot of people will, because they're not used to speaking to that, they'll be like, oh, well, that's your opinion. I'll say, actually, it's not an opinion for me. It's an experience. I've already left this set and put myself back into a new set. And so I have an experience of dying and understanding how reality is operating, and I'm just coming back and sharing that. But it's not an opinion. I didn't read a book about dying and somebody told me and now I'm sharing. It's an experience, and most people have learned everything from an opinion of another person that you align with. But that person rarely had the experience either. I mean, how many people met Buddha or Jesus and they're following a set? Which is really an opinion of someone else I'm following. I'm not self-authored. I'm not self-determined in that set.
Okay, so would it be fair to say that the idea of set theory is to take a third-person perspective on the world and on your life?
It's an elevated perspective in a sense, because now I see what's going on. Like you, now when you're healing the child within you, you're not in that set anymore. Now that set is influencing this set because I haven't really moved out of it. My child is very present in my daily life. Once you understand and heal your child, your child is now healed, existing in a set that's not influencing this set.
But to connect with what you're saying, you are taking the observer, right, the third person, but it's also first person. It's complex because you have to feel what the child felt, right? To get in touch, to get intimate with what it is you're trying to heal, you got to go into it and feel it. So it's both. You're looking at it so that you're not getting lost in it, but you're also in it feeling it at the same time. So it's actually kind of two positions.
Okay, I like that. So it's both this higher elevated perspective on your life and being conscious, creating your future life that you want, but also being able to ground yourself in the feeling.
The feeling's the important part. You got to be able to feel. If you're going to go to heal anything and touch anything or change anything in your life, you have to feel. And the only way to do that is to get into it and feel. And this is something Rick has taught me hugely, because most of us, I think, numb out because the certain set that we're in is a set of struggle. It hurts. And so to make it through that set, we got to numb out and we got to stop feeling. I mean, that's what
reframe in order to move past it. Right? I'm reframing all the time, trying to stay away from the things that bother me, trying to separate from the things that bother me.
What do you do if you don't separate yourself from the things how do you approach the things that do bother you, or the things that don't serve you
You respond
anymore?
to them appropriately.
What is responding?
Well, you had to give me an example, and then I can tell you, right? Because I can't work through nothing.
Well, we could use the example that you just walked me through.
Go ahead.
So, like, I had an ex-roommate that was kind of, like, threatening some law issues or whatever. So let's say if I was in the old set, I would probably just be super pissed off that I had another crazy roommate and, oh my god, why is this happening to me? Because most people go into victim and blame because that's the old paradigm. But he's taught me how to do it from the new paradigm. So his first thing was, what are you feeling? Okay, you're feeling anger. Okay, where's that coming from? You were a martyr, so now you're punishing. So it's like, that's how you break it down. So if you want to describe, that's how he helped me get out of that.
Right. Whatever you're feeling, see, reality is the end of the equation. The reality begins inside subjectively and then shows me objectively what it is that I am doing inside. So what happens is when you shift something from the inside, there's going to be a shift on the outside. So you have to respond to that. Like if a situation goes down and makes me angry, that's what most people, that's making me angry. No, you're actually angry, and I'm creating a situation in order to feel the things that I haven't been feeling. That's why, like I explained that with road rage. A lot of people are like very calm, rational people, and they get in the car at traffic time and they're screaming at everyone and flipping people off and driving like a man, because I don't know where else to express my anger but right here in the car, and this is a safe place for me to do it. So everybody's pissing me off in traffic the way they're driving. It's really because you're mad all day, and now I need to get rid of some of this, so my pressure, but you're creating that people are bothering you because you're bothered underneath. When you release that, there's no reason to be mad anymore.
So back to your statement though, how do you respond appropriately? It's like that. So then the first step would be responding is figuring out what you're creating, figuring out
knowing yourself, you're authoring.
Well, I have an example.
What you're feeling.
You have a goal for your future, and one of the ones you've talked to me about is filling a stadium with a talk, right? Something like that. So
Powerful,
if that,
transformative.
yeah, exactly. If that's your image for the future, that's what you're going for. You've created that in your imagination. What feelings come to you when you create that space? Success, euphoria, abundance, empowerment, maybe a bunch of quality feelings.
Transformation of 50,000 people at the same time.
So that's your goal. You're now moving towards that goal. On the way to that goal, you run into a situation where someone triggers you, and now you have a negative feeling, and it's a feeling of not enough, or I hit a barrier in my success. Maybe it was trying to get subscribers for your channel. You didn't get to the place where you wanted to by the time you wanted to, and you feel limited. As soon as you feel limited, you know that's not the new set. The new set is where I'm headed. The new set is the place that I've created in my imagination, and I know all the feelings that go with that new set.
That is your resource.
Yeah. So the limited feeling, this is from my past. I'm living in my past right now with this feeling coming up. And as soon as you feel that limitation, it doesn't feel good. It's very easy to recognize now that you're headed towards those quality feelings.
Interesting. So in a sense, the set that we're trying to consciously create is this future of whatever we want to unleash our gifts into the world.
Whatever you want, yeah.
Whatever that want is, and then all of these like feelings of lack or anger or all those other things, to be able to kind of see that as just not serving us, but
it's serving.
It's serving you.
But serving us in motivation, in motivating us towards that future that we.
No, it's like
it's acting as suffering for us to get.
Well,
to.
If you have a belief that no pain, no gain, everything like business is hard and it takes a couple years to make money, right? That's a set I'm creating. So now you agree with the set and you take 2 or 3 years. See, the same thing, like, if you say, that makes me euphoric thinking about a filled stadium, you still want to know where's the euphoric feeling come. Because it might be the adolescent in me feeling like I'll be totally like good enough when that happens. So
I'll be valuable.
Yeah, then
right?
I will feel my value rather than feeling it now. See, so what'll happen is you may not get to that event because it's not coming from the adult you, it's coming from an adolescent, lesser part of you. So you're trying to go after a goal that's not even in your best interest. It's in a lesser part of your best interest. So there's not a lot of energy going to it that's positive. It's really making a compensation for something I didn't get in another time.
So we're consciously looking at the set and knowing what is these driving forces of our ancestors, of our childhood, and so we're consciously looking at our timeline and consciously looking at our future, taking this this higher elevated perspective on that.
Yeah, but you don't have to look at all that. Meaning, once you've chosen your future, the only the stuff that shows up is going to be between you and your future. You don't have to go back into all the gunk.
Only between the present and the future.
Yeah, if I'm going for the vision, I'm going to hit resistances on the way. Those are the pieces I need to get there.
And it's not there to like teach you a lesson. It's like if you decide to go for more, which most people are, unless you're really stuck, which people are, which was why they keep hitting the same wall. Once you decide, like us, that we're going forward, we know anything we hit, it's not there to teach us how we're teachers. It's literally just to show you this is in the way of over there.
This thought
it's not here to punish
pattern.
you. And so it's like when I have all my issues popping up with people, I call Rick first and it's like, what is this? Because I know this is the obstacle that's here in front of my future me. I'm trying to go to future me, and this is just showing me, oh yeah, I still got some like resonance going on with past
that's
family
not in alignment with that.
And my higher self is showing me like, this is it right now. This is the one blockage. So once I clear that, I might not have resistance for a while. It's whenever the resistance comes, it's I know I'm still living out a past problem. I mean,
it's a belief from your past. So like most of us have a belief that, for instance, you're at the dinner table and your parents, you wanted to get up and not finish your meal, and they said, oh, you're not going to be able to have dessert unless you finish what you eat. So it was either finish what you eat or I'll punish you. If you do what I say, you'll get the reward.
You only get recess after you do.
Exactly. So right there you have a belief set that I have to, if I do something wrong, I have to go through punishment in order to get back to my pleasure, back to what's good, right? So a lot of us have that set in our lives, and so as we're going for what we want, that can show up. You punish yourself because you no longer have a parent over you as you're grown up. Now you're the one punishing yourself, and you start just creating. Yeah, you create hardships in your life to punish you, and then if you fail, you may punish yourself. Oh fuck, I'm a fucking idiot. That's all just going right back to that old thing, and because you're going through a set, it's like I gotta punish myself so that I can get back to feeling good. But in order to get there, I gotta go through this pain. And so once you recognize those things, it's easy, and Rick teaches it. It's a process. You just go in and you can just remove those beliefs. And then you don't even have to worry about those processes anymore.
Because I'd say that with the old set, and I think it's important to say, people are not going through it. They're not understanding how I'm responsible for creating this. What is this telling me about me out of a sense of love? Mm-hmm. It's because you love yourself. You're trying to grow. Mm-hmm. It's all love. It's not here to, I have the same loser boyfriend again. No, it's like something in me is trying to show me, like, this is what you're supposed to understand about yourself to go where you want to go. And so it's like, in the past set, you get what you don't like, oh, there's this thing I don't like this roommate, I don't like this problem. And so then you just omit yourself from it physically. So that's why it just keeps showing up. It's not because you're not, like, better or any, it's because you don't understand. You didn't get that information. Once you understand the information and you could break it down holistically, then you could move forward and not have to repeat.
Okay, let me see if I can do this. So
yeah,
we do have an elevated perspective on our ancestors and our childhood and our present and our future. We have elevated perspective on that, but we're mostly focused on the present to the future.
Yeah.
And then I still see these things that happen on that path, like blockages that you can remove, these limiting beliefs and things like that can be removed. But like you guys were indicating, there's so many of these experiences that come in to be like, hey, like, are you ready to remove that blockage, or are you just going to like repeat the same thing over and over again? Is there going to be a repairing? Is there going to be a growth process here? And so, but why would that not be like a lesson or a challenge for you to like rise to the occasion? And
the difference is it's not.
That's no pain, no gain.
It's not a lesson like a lesson is like a nobilized thing that is like, oh, if I hadn't, you know, in my past I've struggled with drug addiction. If I hadn't gone through that drug addiction, and I used to tell this script, if I hadn't gone through that drug addiction, I wouldn't have been where I am today.
But can't the lesson be framed in a way that, gosh, that was such a powerful...
Just
For
the
sure,
fact
if you're
you're
winning
framing it as a lesson is a set.
Or a gift.
It's not a lesson.
Can it be viewed like...
It's just a mirror.
It's just a choice you made at some point. That's all it is.
It's a choice you made, but why
That
can't
doesn't serve you
we
anymore.
we can't view it positively to like...
That's a reframe.
I get what you're saying. You can view it positively, but nobilize it.
Don't nobilize
Right.
it.
It's
Yeah,
like
I went through a
this
lot of
one
freaking...
woman had breast cancer and she had one of her boobs removed, and she really believed that had I not gone through this experience and had one of my breasts removed, that I wouldn't be where I was today, and that was the best experience of my life for me. And it was like, absolutely not. That was not the best experience for you to have to learn how to get your power
Literally
back.
cut a boob off
Yeah,
just so
You
I'll get
didn't
the-
need to do that to
You didn't need
learn
go
that.
through that. Exactly.
You turned it into that experience after, but you didn't have to do that at all if you would have stopped earlier.
Interesting. So just not nobilizing
The
experiences
past.
You can learn
of
without
suffering.
suffering.
Yeah.
You can learn. You can
Yes.
have a
Without
beautiful
suffering.
growth or learning
Yeah.
experience, but not nobilize
Yes.
something that is like
Because-
a horrific car accident
Yeah.
or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The only thing that
People
created
are nobilizing
it
it
was,
now because they think it took that for me to get this.
Yeah.
And
And,
it's reframing it because it's like, how is that the best thing that ever happened
It's
to you?
it's like that's the quote about the roots needing to reach down to hell in order for the flowers to
that's
reach to the
just stupid
heavens.
stuff.
It's only a belief that was set. So this woman who had this had her breast removed, she had some sort of belief that she has to struggle to get where she
Most of
wants or
us do.
something
We're
like
in a
that,
Christian
right?
paradigm, which
Yeah.
is like, I'm going to get crucified on the cross and bleed out for days. You know what I mean? Like, think about it.
to
Like,
get what I want.
that, and
Yeah.
we're thinking that's noble. It's like to
Every
sacrifice
story in the
yourself like
Bible
that.
is that.
Yeah, it's
Even
terrible.
the story you just gave about how you gotta finish what's left on your plate
Yeah.
for having dessert.
Yeah.
That's like such a
Oh,
classic
God.
story.
Such a
of-
great lesson the parents taught us, right?
Yeah,
It's like
and they're just doing that because somebody else did it to them and somebody, but then nobody know why am I doing that?
Yeah.
Why do I need to finish everything on my plate before I move on? Why do I need to do my homework before I get to go outside? Why are we setting up a set like that?
It is a paradigm of suffering.
The future creates the present. And so if you don't know that, the only resource you have is the past, and you keep living the past.
And the important thing to note on that with the nobilization is an emotional thing. And so you give it now significance. And if you're giving more significance to your past than you're giving emotional significance to where you're headed, guess what? Your results are going to be from your past.
Interesting. So then there's another major aspect to this, which is the nobilization of these past experiences kind of keep us in this like adoration of those past
Yes.
experiences
Yes.
rather than always linking up with the present to the future and linking up to the future that I'm creating and
Right.
seeing how that
Imagining.
manifests in the present.
If you watch like some of his videos, there's like a couple of ours that I've seen, and it just always hits my heart so much because I studied with him and he became my family. Like, this is so amazing, you know. But one of the things you say in all the videos is, I want you to learn through joy, not
Yeah.
suffering.
Yeah.
Like, you have to take that for more than just a statement. It's true. Like, most people learn through suffering. That's what brought me to them. I was in the worst year of depression for over a year, and I was also tempted to be like, well, I'm so glad it happened because it brought me to you. Of course I'm glad it happened because it did bring me to them, but he's always pointing out, but that's the way you chose it from that set.
Yeah.
You don't ever have to have your next growth spurt by being in a hole for a year. Like, that's terrible. I want to grow now through joy and happiness.
How would
elegance.
that look like? How would a child like Maverick, how would Maverick be able to grow through joy and not like an experience of suffering?
Right now, he's unconsciously taking all this conversation. He's learning this. Like I said, my parents were throwing shit and screaming and choking each other and hitting each other, and he's never even seen that kind of experience before he learns language, before verbally, you know. He's listening to all these things. He may not be able to piece it together, but he's getting the resonance, he's getting the vibration of people that are living a different experience. I know this kid's going to be a different kind of human being, not doing anything else than making sure that he's unconditionally loved.
So the fact that you are at peace, you are unconditionally loving him as a family, and then
out of
you're
choice.
not throwing things around and that kind of stuff. okay, so you're moving like this over. You're moving this Overton window more towards progress, towards enlightenment, or ethical and moral righteousness, that type of stuff. So that way we don't have to relive the same sufferings of our past. So then the paradigm seems as though it's shifting, like almost. Then is it completely away from this need to nobilize suffering, and rather in a way to nobilize joy? Like what is that future?
Preference.
Yeah.
That I want to create.
What Liz just said.
Preference?
Right.
So let's
Preferences.
stay on that. Preference.
Okay. Here, I'll just say.
Okay.
Happiness is a fulfillment of your needs. I have a roof, I have water, I have food, I have friends, I have belongings. That creates happiness. It also creates an addictive pattern. Because now if I don't have those things, I'm not happy. So to grow through joy, I have to figure out what my preferences are. And since that changes moment to moment, day to day, you're not living in the past when you choose a preference. Because when you fulfill a preference, you're enjoying your experience now. I'm having it exactly the way I want it, and it excites me, and it's fun, and I'm enjoying it. And when you're enjoying something, it's obvious when you're like, oh, I'm so into this. Oh my God, it's awesome. And so you're fulfilling a preference. Now you're in growth mode. I'm enjoying my experience. I'm living fully in the moment, at peace. Simultaneously, joy and peace. You want that
Joy
to be,
and peace.
and so you must be choosing preferences. So you have to be conscious. You cannot just get into an addictive pattern of what makes me happy. Now I'm in a pattern that has to be in real time, according to who I am in real time. Because moment to moment, your preferences change. So you have to be conscious of what you're doing.
And we're constantly adjusting and tuning our preferences based on the future we want to create.
Right.
And that's why when you go for the future, we talk about you let go of that form.
Yeah.
So your goal may be this stadium, but that's just to generate the function.
So what does that mean? What is this?
So
We're
as you're
for
going,
a feeling.
yeah, as you're going for the goal of your future, you're staying with the quality feelings you got once you went into imagination and decided, oh God, I imagine all these people in this stadium, and we're all around, everybody's so joyful, and you start getting all these great feelings. Now that I'm going for it, I keep going off those feelings, right? As soon as something else negative comes up, then I know obviously I can go clear that from the past. I clear it, and now I get back on track. But you're not hanging on to the form of it, meaning on your path there, your goal could shift. It could turn into something else, right?
Okay, so you have
as
a very
long as the
flexible,
feeling is leading you there.
flexible path.
Because it's preferences.
It's preferences along the way, but so then what is that future that we envision? That's the what is that?
I have a
That's
good
the
example of
Is that the
this.
function, or
I have a
is
great
that
example
what is
of
that?
this.
The future you're
The
creating
emotions under what I'm imagining is the function.
is the function.
Okay, so
Like I'm going to feel euphoric.
so the
right?
function is this future that I want to. Yes, the function's the future that we want to create, and then the form is the process to get.
No.
What,
The future is the form.
the form
I'll
is
just
the
explain
future,
what happened to me.
and the function is how you.
Yeah.
Okay, go
We
ahead.
get together like once a month, and so when we first started, the first month, it was like, let's pick a dream. And so I'm like, well, I don't know, I feel so good right now. What should I dream of? A boyfriend, I guess, because that just seems like my default. So I decided function, boyfriend. Like boyfriend is
Love.
the form. Or whatever, love.
Partnership,
sure.
love, yeah.
So then I was like, okay, imagining love and my future with a partner. And then within days, I'd say all of a sudden that became like so not even my issue whatsoever.
Well, you got asked out, you went out.
Well, that was all happening, yeah. But all of a sudden, it like
so you already created.
Sure, but what it
Yeah.
flipped to is now all of a sudden I am like totally after like money and independence and freedom through like business and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So that was the function. The form was like boyfriend or lover partner, but I didn't stay attached to that because I kept following the function, and then I realized that must have been linked because really it was empowerment that I was going after.
She was thinking that having a boyfriend was going to enable her to have a better life, to have a more secure life, all these things that getting the right man does for you.
But if I was attached to the form, I'd probably be like, well, am I single? But instead, I'm like, what boyfriend? I have the function now because the function was power and love for myself. And of course, like,
And
I do want the
intimacy she's
form.
getting in-
So,
And
yeah.
and the
Different
whole group
form.
of us,
Yeah. And that's another thing I realized. What I really wanted was intimacy, maybe not a partner. And like, they've become my family, so I have that. Yeah.
Okay, so we have a form that is this future that
Right.
that is our gift that we want to bring to the world, and then the function we stay very flexible to the way that we're going to get that the reality is going to get created to get to the
Because it's a
form.
dream, it exists on the edge of your personal boundaries, right? Because let's say I have a dream to this 50,000 thing. I want 50,000 people in a stadium filled up. That's my dream. That's this. Well, you're not really imagining millions. You're imagining 50,000 because I really can't comprehend millions. But when I get 50,000, I may very well be able to comprehend millions, right? So that's the edge of your dream. So if I go after that, I'm going to be confronted with everything that blocks me on my way of having this thing because I'm already pushing the boundary of what I see as possible. So if you pick something that's a dream, you're going to hit your limitations immediately because you're knocking on the very essence of my boundary.
What do you choose as form, if not then some sort of an aspiration, or you said not a dream?
Well, a dream
is
any dream at all will do, but any dream you pick is the edge of where I can see
sure.
the edge of
that
where
was
I
the
exist.
50,000 versus 1 million.
Really, yeah.
Or like
exactly.
8 billion people all consciously creating their own artistic expressions forward.
Right.
Could be like a good.
It's gonna be very far out. Yeah.
All you have to do is one. If you can do with one, then you move it to two. Then you move out, and you're building a real base now because I'm close and intimate with each part of this pyramid I built.
Okay, question. In terms of the form, do you have like a step 1 form, a step 10 form, a step 100 form, from that 10,000
So
to
I have
8 billion?
an example of this. So when you're doing your future imagination, you imagine it like you're out on the sea and you're on a boat and you're actually literally throwing out anchors to where you're headed. And so now you're being pulled more direct, right? And so you started with maybe it's a 5-year plan. So 5 years out and you got your goal right there, right? So you threw out that first anchor. Now you're like pulling yourself towards it emotionally, right? You're following the emotion. It's taking you there. It's like a magnet.
Yes.
But now you go maybe 4 years and now you go backtrack from where you started and start throwing out more anchors, and more anchors, and more anchors. What you're doing is you're creating now so much more significance in your future. The pathway to get there is going to be so much easier. Whereas if you're trying to propel yourself through the water and a storm comes or something shows up that's in your way, it's easier to lose track. But you got these anchors now that you're just pulling on. Anything shows up, it's so much easier to just stay right on track with it.
Can you explain anchor though? Because
It sounds more like a harpoon.
Well, it's like if you're able to throw it out into the future, right? It's like
He's throwing a hook.
So I describe it like this.
So much.
When you go into your imagination, what's the first thing that you're going to ask yourself? You're going to ask the question, what do I want? So right there, you just opened a space.
Okay.
And this is a magnetic space.
Yes.
It's feminine in nature. It's like a womb. It just opened up and it's waiting to be filled. And you're filling it now with all the imagination that you want to fill that space with emotionally. You're supercharging it vibrationally with everything that you want. And so now it's a very supercharged magnet. That's just pulling you right towards it, right?
The more you define that space, the more emotions you're putting into it, the more it's like a song. Like, for instance, if I wanted 50,000, well, now I better understand how many stadiums carry 50,000 people. What city would it be in? And what would the weather be like? You see, you've got to keep, not just, I just want 50,000, that's my goal. There's not enough detail to get significance.
So I like this point that this is like a womb to fill with your conscious reality
creation.
This is what sports
people
and you
do.
add the detail like you were listening to it, which then makes it more and more real.
What happens is when
you envision
you're in the more real while you're doing it. You imagine this is a feedback mechanism electrically coming back through my brain's the measuring devices. The more real is in your brain. When you're in a meditation, it's more real. You're bringing the more real into an illusion. When you're meditating and imagining, and like if you like brownies and you close your eye, you salivate because your body doesn't know that's not coming, right? So that's what you're doing. You're getting yourself to get involved. You see, that's people now are like, how do I get there? What are the steps? You don't need to worry about the steps. The desire for it is going to tell you, who do I need to be to become that now? It's going to tell you what needs to happen. Unless you don't go after it. It's a fantasy now. If I'm not taking action, it's a fantasy.
So there's actually also, this is a lot, I want to also mention, like on a science level, we've now been doing maps of neural activity while people do things like just imagine themselves shooting the basketball, and it's the same as when they're actually going and shooting the basketball.
It's actually even better, because what you map down is the feeling. and then the body movements go from the feeling.
You just get up there and throw the thing. You don't have to imagine. The subconscious already saw you do it, knows what you're doing. Just throw the ball. You're actually just bringing that illusion into the real. There's nothing to do. I've already imagined it. And I believed in myself, and I trust myself, and I trust the way that I do it, just throw the ball.
So when before these interviews, when we do this conscious connection of like, we're gonna rock this interview, we're so pumped, we're literally manifesting our success and our ability to interplay with each other successfully on the program before we even start.
As long as you're not reframing, because a lot of people reframe like, I feel great today, I'm gonna kill it. But it's like, do you believe that? Or do you actually feel like you're gonna fail? So you can't just be vision boarding. You have to legitimately fucking believe you're gonna do it. You gotta feel it.
And whatever feeling's missing, like if I'm feeling I really could do it, inside I'm like, no, you can't.
Oh, yeah,
you gotta go, okay, there's a belief. Yeah, well, that's because there's a belief in there that you need to unplug, so that's not influencing me anymore. Not like, I don't care what you say, I don't care what you say, I'm dragging that shit everywhere while I'm trying to be successful. Just unplug that and release that, and then it's much easier.
So when you do, it's like...
But you got to know how to do that.
When you set out your future, when you set out your imagination, that's actually a great time to process. Because once you start doing that and you start growing it, right, and you're imagining this stadium, and then you see certain individuals, and now it starts getting personal. Maybe you see a hero of yours right there in the front row looking at you, and then all of a sudden a fear crops up. Boom, that's something you could process. Like, oh, what's that fear? What's that limitation? I can process that now before I even start moving towards it, right?
It's already on right now. Let me do it now. If you're getting mad, be mad now. Don't be like, I'm just going to do it. Because you just dropped your whole thing. You didn't even go through the thing that came up that's limiting me on my path. I'll just stop and think about this later and go home and figure out what I did. No. You just stay right now and you deal. I'm freaking pissed. I don't have to beat anybody up with my anger, but I'm angry about what's going on right now, and I need to express that so it's not being stuffed back into my unconscious and polluting what I'm trying to do from here.
Because you'll be running off of that function. We just had, Liz and I were on a shoot. It was stressful. We were both kind of frustrated, but I was starting to lose it, right? Because I had anger. And I was losing my sturdiness on where I was. And Elizabeth recognized it. She pulled me outside, let's take a break. And she had me express my feelings, right? So I told her I'm feeling angry, I'm feeling upset right now, and I just this is all too much. So then I took a second to go around the corner. I just went around the corner, crouched by a van, and this fucking motherfucker like started yelling. Like anything that was coming up that needed to be said from my angry adolescent, my angry hurt child, anything, it doesn't matter. Meaning I'm not going to judge myself what I say. Fuck that motherfucker piece, you know what I mean? Like, let it out.
Yeah.
And so I sat there and I just vented it, got it out. And as soon as it was out, then I was cool and I was clear and I was able to now get right back on track. Like, okay, now I know the feelings that I'm moving back.
You also
for.
took your authority back.
Yes,
Because
exactly.
how you got there was you gave your authority
Exactly.
away. And that's the one thing that is also taught a lot here. Like, you're in charge of your life. And how many people as an adult aren't? They might say, like, I'm in charge, but are you in charge? Like, daddy says this, the boss says that, the religion says that. A lot of people are not actually in charge of their life, and so you have to become
They're in charge of my baggage.
Right.
I'm in charge of all my baggage, but I'm not in charge of all of it. You are. All that baggage are places that you haven't dealt with emotions at certain times. And so, since you can't separate from them, they are tainting everything I'm trying to do from here, and if they get enough of that, that will completely inhibit you from being successful. But it's just because I haven't dealt with all the way that I deal with life is not appropriate. I have to find a new way to deal with life separate from this, but not because I hate it, but because it's healed.
Complete and total ownership.
Yes,
100%.
100%.
100%. And then let's use, is there by chance a single word or phrase that we could use regarding is it healing or integration or what is it?
You create your reality 100%. That's it.
Okay, yes. So, this is great. The phrase, we create our reality 100%. And now let's look at those two sides that we were talking about. And we're not going to spend too much time in the past side like we were talking about. But in that past side, is it healing? Is it integration? You were talking about the baggage. What is the word or the phrase regarding that people can apply?
It's the past.
It's just the past.
See, the past doesn't exist. If I ask you the problem, you have to imagine and tell me what the problem is.
I do have to imagine back what happened.
Yeah, because that's your mind going back to a pattern. It's not real either. You've made it significant. You've made it be this stumbling point. You've made it something that defined me. And you don't know how to get rid of it.
It's a pattern. So,
but it's a past
so the past
way
is
of
a
thinking.
pattern.
Yes.
And so if we view the past as a pattern, and then what we have now is the present to the future.
The
and
healing's in the future.
Yeah.
All healing is in the future.
The future is the source of all healing. If a person loses touch with the future, that they could beat the cancer, they could beat where they'll die. It's because old people die mostly because they don't know how to imagine a future. I'm 90, I could be dead tomorrow. I don't imagine a future. So you just run out of room and you die. It's not because of anything else. I just don't know how this operates, and I'm not really operating within it. Law of thermodynamics says you're in a state of decline. That's not true. That is an incorrect law. You're in a state of change, not decline.
Is it true though that like the question of how do you describe this, would it also be true to say it's not separating anymore? Because it seems
Yes.
like almost everything you go back to, because like everything I need help with, is like you're separating from yourself. So that's what you have to identify. What am I separating from? Why am I separating it from? Now I need to forgive myself for what I've done to myself and created all of this, and then you close the loop by not separating, because it's all you, right? It's all you. So you have to stop.
You forget it.
You
separating
cannot
what is
negatively
you.
judge something and change it at the same time. Negative judgment separates you from experience. I'm not comfortable. I don't like those people. Now you cannot do anything to change that.
so, what do you keep a neutral, or
No, you own it.
You own it.
If you
own
really
it.
hate those Trump supporters, or you really hate this, then you have to own how much you hate what's going. Like you have to go, I'm so angry that I'm creating it coming at me from that direction all the time because I'm not dealing with my anger. So I have so much anger that everybody's pissing me off every day. It's like that's only coming up because you're so angry. If I release that anger, I won't find realities
Because
to
it's
make
not
me
that
mad.
we're not trying to cast anger. It's more that it's like when you go behind the vehicle and
It's
have
to
your-
respond.
but you don't want to inflict violence.
Of course, I'm
Yeah.
responding
No.
responsibly.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm
That's
not
just a child.
Respond responsibly.
And what's happening is the beauty of this whole thing is you get really intimate and personal with yourself. Because in that scenario where I was angry, it was my adolescent dealing with authority issues, and it was my child dealing with authority issues, and they were both pissed the fuck off. And instead of me feeling shitty about myself or guilty, oh, I shouldn't be feeling these feelings, because that's what most of us are taught. Anger's not okay. It's not okay to get mad at someone else. It's like, I've told my adolescent and my child that their whole lives growing up that it's not okay. And now I'm saying it's okay to be angry. What's wrong with being fucking angry? It's just anger. It's an emotion. So it's like, when I went and responded and I heard them and I knew that they were having a tantrum, it was like, I'm not going to get about my day, because now
Only
my rest of my day will
unprocessed.
manifest in a terrible way, right? So it was like, I have to respond to them right now. I have to let them come out and say what they want to say, and not do it in a way that's like trying to guide them and reframe and say, oh, teach them. It's like, no, come out and fucking say what you want to say, however you want to say
You're
it,
not-
however
because
gnarly it is.
Just because you're angry doesn't mean they did it.
Yeah.
You're the one angry.
Yeah.
You're not contextualizing reality properly. You're taking content and you're agreeing with a set of a past and saying, yeah, instead of going, no, I'm getting super mad. I'm the one that's not taking the context and creating it. Right? The problem with everybody's ego is it's contextualizing experience for you, and you're not choosing the context. Your context is being driven by a set of beliefs that are getting triggered, and because you're getting triggered, you say, yeah, motherfucker, you're all wrapped up in your own belief that you don't recognize. You're not contextualizing experience. I'm not in charge right now if I'm not contextualizing
My adolescent
experience.
is, or my child is
Or
in
my
charge
negative
right
ego.
now. Yeah, it's like we look at universal examples. Trump. So many people are triggered and have all kinds of stuff coming from Trump. But you have to ask yourself, who does Trump symbolize for me?
Right.
What does he symbolize in my
metaphor?
life? Is he authority? Is he racist? What is it? So as soon as you take the symbol, you're not now personal with Trump. It's not Trump. It's the symbol
Well,
for
you
my
made
in my
Trump.
psyche. So then I can now go, okay, where did that symbol show up throughout my past if I want to heal this? So I can look at all the symbols of authority or whatever Trump means for me from my past. And I'm like, oh, and then I find one that's juicy. And then at that point, that's where you go connect to that memory with your child. And this is where it gets really intimate and important, because you're coming in now with just love. You're setting your space to be like, I'm going to come love this. I'm not going to separate from this. This was a painful experience. Maybe it was a father who abused me, whatever it might be. I will not separate.
So I can get rid of it.
You separated from it originally to survive. That's why it's still with you. And so you're going back to actually put the pieces together. And that's the beautiful part. That's where this art form, because it is an art form, becomes absolutely beautiful. Because when you go back and you bring these pieces together and you feel it authentically, and you healed and forgave, and now it's clear, you feel unbelievable. You just now step into a whole new reality. And literally what happens is you start seeing miracles from this reality. Once you've cleared that, all of a sudden something's going to come back to you that's like, holy shit, I didn't even expect that. Elizabeth forgave her dad, and then her dad came and asked her for forgiveness.
Like 2 hours later.
Yeah, I forgave my mom the very next day. She came and spoke to me about the very thing that I went back and went and cleared and clean. And she just came to me with it.
See, and that's why it's an art form, because once you understand that reality is an expression of my beliefs, nothing more. The universe is just mirroring who I am, because the universe is the realm of possibility. You're a spark of consciousness that came in, and the whole thing morphed around your set. And as soon as I change my set, it just changes. You don't have to control. You don't have to dominate anybody anymore. You just have to have a dominion of yourself. And then once you actually realize that, and you go through a shift, and your mom comes tomorrow and says something, you know that came out of the work I did, and it becomes like, wow, wow, and it just trips you the fuck out, because you start recognizing the reality, the God being that you really are.
So the belief creates the reality, the belief creates the experience.
Yes, belief is everything.
And I think that's a good time to bring in what we were going to mention before. One of our points was the old paradigm is about control. And so that's what they're describing.
Domination.
What does control look like? It's like, I hate Trump, I hate what he's doing because it's wrong and I'm
Get him
righteous
impeached.
because I know for
Impeach him.
sure he's
Yeah.
bad, and so I'm right, you're wrong, and I'm going to fix your thinking and you all need to leave this country. That's control. When you're not realizing how you control is by creating. So forget control, you will change the president when you fix why you're
Yes.
making him in the first place. So you do not control the form. You got to go in and correct yourself.
You have
inside.
to unplug yourself from that, because that is a reflection of me.
Yeah.
I have to unplug myself. I have to move past my anger, my rage, my disempowerment. All whatever he labeled, whatever you could say is what it is what I have to change in me. And then he will change.
See, well, and I'll describe it like this. I use this example. So if you were to stand in front of a mirror and put a mirror right behind you, you see that infinity illusion, right, where you see yourself go for infinity. So the person that you're at right now has a certain set of beliefs. Now imagine you can move down the line to a person who has, let's say it's a belief that you're struggling with right now is a limitation on money. So it's like money doesn't come to me easily, or I have to work really hard for money. But imagine you're able to shift down the line of yous, of all these yous in the mirror, to a different version of yourself that believes money comes to me easily. What would his life look like? Mm-hmm. You get what I'm saying? It would be a completely different universe. So as soon as you shift your belief, that's what happens.
Mm-hmm.
You
just
shift
move
down the
to
line,
another point on your own,
and it's a
spectrum.
whole new universe. It's not the same universe that you were just in, and it happens instantly.
So the key is to shift our beliefs towards the form.
To function.
Towards the function
You need to contextualize and not worry about the content. The content is just the way my filtering system is going. But the way I feel inside has nothing to do with this. I can't let reality invalidate me or validate me, really. It's an illusion. It's a mirror of me. Why? How is a mirror going to validate
so stay
me?
sovereign in your beliefs.
Yes.
Because this is
Beautiful.
more back to the old paradigm, because that was in the notes. Cause and effect versus resonance causation. Cause and effect, what people are living in is, I'm mad because you pissed me off. I'm mad because you're a shitty president. I'm mad because
I have
you're
a right to shit
if
on
you
you.
weren't doing that, I wouldn't be mad. So we're not in our own authority. We're not responsible for ourselves. We're not creating from a beautiful place. And so if you could shift to the new paradigm and not being cause and effect, well, if you stop doing that, then I'd stop feeling this way. If you would just leave, then I'd be better. No, it's like,
It's so crazy.
I created that. How did I create that? Let me figure out how I created that. And then if I
Unplug
figure
it and
out
watch it fade.
I can create something new. So that's the difference between cause and effect versus resonance causation.
And it's crazy because as we've all done this, we've all shifted people in our lives. Because that's the crazy part is once you've shifted down the line to this new person, to this new belief set, the people in your lives aren't the same either. It's a whole new universe.
universe.
So if
Yeah.
you're in a relationship that's a struggle, and you get down to the bottom of why you have created a belief that this is a struggle, right? Whatever it is you believe about this person, and then you shift that belief, the person will either leave your reality or they'll change. They'll be a different person,
Yeah.
and you'll be blown out on
You
how different
can't
they
be
are.
a human homeopathic to make the world a better place when you're judging everybody who you think is not doing it the way you think it should be.
Uh-huh.
You're separating from the experience. That I have to own the parts of myself that have taken this long to understand what I've been doing. Like, it's got to be a moment of forgiveness that alters this. It's got to be a release of a way that I'm being. The adolescent inside wants to argue and fight. That's why it is just dogma and no dialogue.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah.
It's adolescent behavior.
Interesting. So we have rampant dogma and not so much dialogue because it's like adolescent.
One opinion
behavior.
against nobody's got the experience. It's an opinion against an opinion against an opinion.
So versus the 8 billion people having their own beliefs that we haven't even sovereignly decided that we're all in complete conscious creation with our beliefs creating our experiences. So because that isn't there, that's part of maybe what you could call like a spiritual fragmentation of sorts.
People don't know who they are, and they don't know how
They
powerful they are.
identify with their past. That's the way you were programmed. That's not who you are. Most of the time, that program has nothing to do with who you are, and that's why you're so unhappy. I have to write my own program somewhere. I have to get out of that set and redesign a set for myself that works for me, right? And so that's a process. Everything in physical reality is ultimately a process. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti. Do, back, but in a more elevated place. You see, we are analyzing everything rather than understanding we have to synthesize everything.
Yeah.
If I have in a moment and we're arguing, we share a resonance. If one of us unplugs that, the argument will fall apart immediately. And that's how you know when you've healed it. Like if you're inside while you're into it and you go, what do I need to forget? What do I need? Right, it's an art form. I have to get better at it, understand. Now it happens in real time fast. You're a creator. You're like, oh, wow, I'm pissed because somebody's pissed in front of me and I'm getting triggered. So there's some anger to deal. Let me be open and listen to what are the hints and clues of what's pissing me off inside. What can I align with? The fact is, like, yeah, they're judging me or they're looking at me as a lesser person. And you see, you've got to take that apart and unplug that. And if you unplug, if you're good at it, which you can get good at it, you'll see the argument fall apart. You don't have to tell them anything. You just unplug yourself. And it's like in resonance causation, you're operating by the law of resonance. And the law of resonance states when you get two vibrations, there's only three things that happen to those. They either, one will come down, one will go up, or they'll harmonize somewhere in the middle. These are unconscious vibration. Now, if I'm conscious and I know mine is coming from love and I know what I'm doing, these will come up to you for sure. They cannot not. Like if you get in an argument and you start saying shitty things, they say, and it just escalates and it's going all over. You don't know why. It's because you're meeting them, and they're meeting you, and you're not recognizing that. Oh, I'm escalating. I'm not really unplugging.
So funny.
So true.
That's the thing where we say hold the line.
Yeah,
You gotta
yeah.
hold your values. You
To
have
be a homeopathic, you have to be the healer. You have to hold a different thing, and it can't be out of a judgment.
Okay, so we anchor love, and then that's the resonance that we hold, and then we
In a
don't,
big picture sense, yes.
and then we don't cast judgment onto 8 billion other people.
Yeah.
Why? They're just because they're just my adolescent and child.
They're all aspects
Yeah.
of you. 8 billion versions of something inside of you because they don't exist when you leave experience.
And would you say that this is is this forgiving?
Yeah, well, when you're going back and you're forgiving your adolescent, your child, and all you've repassed, all of that starts to unbind emotionally. So now that
agreed
that's
with
not
those
there,
people who are limiting you. You're the one that agreed with those limitations placed on you. You have to disagree with them in a positive way now. You were programmed, and you might hate it, and you might not like it, and you feel limited, and you feel crappy. But if you don't understand how to reprogram to take that out and upgrade myself in a sense, and do it honestly, you can't reframe and separate. Well, I'm just going to move on. I'm going to let that go. No, you won't.
Because
You're
most
just
people
hiding
think
from it now. When you let it go, you let it go, you know what you do, and reality has communicated to me that I let it go. If reality doesn't communicate that back, you got more to do because it's an illusion. It's a reflection of you. You need to use the reality appropriately. As a God being, it's an illusion. I'm here to create. I'm here to create the more real and bring it into this experience. Not try to get the experience to change for me.
Okay. Rather than trying to get the experience to change for you, it's about you consciously creating.
And let it be the mirror to let me know when I've changed is when it falls apart. And the proof is in the pudding. If you're doing it, it happens, and you know you're doing it when you're doing it. See, most people are in a set, they don't understand what I'm talking about. Everybody sitting right here knows what I'm talking about. They've done it. I can talk about it all day, but until you meet a person who's done it and can talk that language and understand, there's a synergy that also happens, right? This is a greater than me being alone on camera with you. This is a greater vibration.
Yeah.
It's more deep, it's wider, it's more profound in a sense, because now there's 4 people sitting here that understand how to create reality consciously.
and are just loving life.
Yeah, we have amazing life, all of us. I mean, it's super fun for me to watch.
That's the cool part. Like I was saying, it's art. It's cool. I've always wanted to go for art my whole life. But this is like the purest form of art because you touch into so much love. Like I was saying, when you're talking about judgment, when you see the rest of all the the world doing crazy shit, you've gone back and you've connected to the child and the adolescent inside of you, and you've loved them, and you've gained greater unconditional love for yourself. So how is someone even going to come into my reality and really actually piss me off? You get what I'm saying? Like, piss me off to the point where I'm like, fuck you, like it doesn't happen the same because now I have so much more love for myself. Yeah. That's really what it's like. You've gotten in touch with yourself, pieces of you that you left a long time ago. And so now that you've connected in that way, your whole world becomes more intimate. So now you see just adolescents and children around in the world, and you're just like, fuck, I feel for you. I have empathy. I have so much more empathy now because I know you. I know myself.
And you want to open to that when you realize, I see what we're resonating inside.
Yeah.
I want to open to that right now. And a lot of times, right then, the other person will just relax. And you're like, I'm right on point right now inside because I saw in real time them go down when I opened. It's like you need to use physical reality as a mirror. That's what it was designed for. That's what it is. Again, people don't know that because they weren't taught.
Use physical reality as a mirror to consciously create.
Yes.
To have sovereign beliefs to create your experiences and your reality. So
your imagination is the most potent tool you have. And right now, I think, therefore I am. All the emphasis has been on the mind and thinking. It hasn't been on the sense of being an emotional being. You see, like I said, that's why I say your mind is the brush.
Is it I feel, therefore I create?
I feel, therefore I am.
Therefore I am.
He didn't come in thinking. He came in feeling, and everything was taken care of for him.
He still doesn't look like he's thinking much. Yeah.
He's still not.
Yeah.
Until they say no, terrible twos, they're not conscious of themselves yet. That's their first, I have a preference. No, I don't. That's why no is so profound to them, because all of a sudden I'm not you. I have my own. I'm not my mother. I'm not aligned with her psychologically anymore. It's a separation. You first set physically, then you have to separate emotionally. That's the next separation. The terrible twos are an emotional separation from source. Then, now my mind is starting to gain, and I understand, and I'm learning language, and I'm understanding how to think and be. Before that, this is an experience of receiving.
So that should be a celebration then, when they first say no.
Yes,
you know what I mean?
exactly.
Instead of like, oh God, the terrible
the adolescent
twos.
goes, oh my God, I can't control him anymore.
Yeah.
They're so uncontrollable.
Yeah.
Oh God, kids
Celebrate
are so.
it.
See, the adolescent is raising a child, is what's happening right there. You're not an empowered adult, or you'd know. I've never gotten upset. I've never picked him up upset. Neither has she. He's been unconditionally loved very consciously, because I want his experience of reality, the unconscious person in him, to know he's good enough, know he has enough. He's an egomaniac. No matter how much he gets, it's not enough. And you have boundaries. You can only give so much, but when I stop, I can't give you any more. I don't do it like, that's it, I'm done. cry. No, I'm like, I hold him, and I'm sorry, I can't help you right now. I love you. And I just hold him and let him cry. But he's not crying because I'm like, he's just going to have to cry it out. You know, got to be tough on them. Kids need to be tough. If you don't toughen them up, they don't learn now. Earlier the better. Yeah, program early and they come out even more difficult, more hard for them to find themselves later. More control. Because all they're picking up is I have to control myself. They can't think it through. All they know is I have to control myself. I must control myself. And then they're mad. You have a kid that's blowing up all the time. He blows up, everybody does, because they're egomaniacs. The child's ego is in, am I getting enough? No. I just had everything fulfilled for me without question, without thought, without anything. Now I come into a new space and it's not working. It's a paradigm shift to come out of your mother. Now I'm trying to figure out what's going on, but I'm still in a 100% state of receiving when I enter this. I have to lose that state of receiving in order to consciously reinstill that in myself later in life. When I know choice and I know what I want and I'm able to receive it specifically now. So you must cut your adolescent. You cut yourself in adolescent purposely. You cut yourself on a soul level because I get the taste of being this powerful, amazing human being who I just want to have sex and I want to do what I want. And I don't want your ideas anymore. And then you cut yourself and you lose it. You just get a taste of what it's like to be the adult, but you can't be an adult coming from there. It has to be self-authored. So in the healing process I do as an adult, I incorporate all the positive stuff of the child and I incorporate positive stuff of the adolescent and I leave the negative stuff healed behind. Now you're functioning as a multidimensional being without limitation. Because you know what? If I hit a wall tomorrow, I know how to take that out of. It's just the steps to getting to where you want are the qualities of being there. And the qualities of being there tell me the steps I need to get there.
And it's not about perfection.
It's
not about perfection.
That's a big one right there. That's a big one.
You don't all of a sudden, I'm enlightened, I have no more anger. What the fuck? No. People are very angry. I'm angry all the time. But it's like, you have to understand, you're not perfect. You're not going to do anything perfectly.
And enlightenment isn't being perfectly mellow and not getting mad. That's the adolescent version of what enlightenment would look. If I was really happy, I'd be like stress-free and not mad and not all these things. So the adolescent sees enlightenment as this calm, cool, collected person who has it all. Yeah, Johnny One Note. What the fuck? I just have one note. This is it.
Uh-oh, I'm a Johnny too.
I look like you like this when I listen to you. Oh, you're sending me love. That's not enlightenment. Enlightenment is like full on, baby. I'm full on everywhere I go all the time.
It's true.
Because that's what is enabling me to create so powerfully. I need all 56 crayons, not go through them and just take the ones out you don't like and throw them away. I don't have resource that way anymore. Your emotions are real. To be angry, honestly, openly in the moment, it puts the brakes. That's the brakes of physical reality. If I lose my shit right here, everybody's gonna go, what the fuck? The whole reality stops cold. That's what anger is for. And now if you disempower it, hey, it's not good. You have no brakes on the car anymore. You have no capacity to stop what's going on. If I see something going on, I don't need to go, you're a fucking asshole. I have to say, God damn, what are you doing? What are you doing right now? I need to know so I can find what's inside and unplug this experience that I'm sharing. You can't resonate if you don't. You can't resonate with an idea if you can't watch a person totally angry and not know that I'm totally angry. I would not be seeing this. Not like, oh, you're so angry. Now you're just pissing him off. I'm so cool and you're so not. Really, I'm angry as fuck and I'm just trying to act like I'm not. Because I can't share that experience. I have to be like, I'm in freaking denial if I say I'm not angry. I'm trying to be that like enlightened person that doesn't get mad no matter what you do. Oh, that's great. Go ahead and break my stuff.
Oh my God.
You know?
Turn the other cheek.
Yeah.
There you go.
That's all an old way of being that doesn't work. It's not working because it's not working now. It hasn't worked so far and it won't. You're seeing a split in the paradigm. People that are having dreams, it's just that the adolescents think there's only 1% of the people get dreams. 99% of the people get fucked by some other authority out because you haven't really resolved being an authority yet. You're still seeing I'm being limited by the outside because the child and the adolescent were. They don't have the capacity to be self-offered. They have no experience. All I have is what my parents programmed me, pre-verbally most of it. You see, so I'm living in an experience that I don't know how to author. I don't know how to take responsibility, because the adolescent actually believes responsibility is a duty and obligation, not power. And a light person's like, I'll take that. Let me take that. Let me fix this. I see you're really angry, and I want to understand more about my own anger, because I'm not seeing it. Like the dialogue, that's where the dialogue comes from, is understanding you're not alone right now. I wouldn't be seeing this if I didn't have it in me. I'd be seeing somebody else without it.
Take responsibility because it gives us power.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Power and responsibility directly 100% equally correlate. If I don't have the ability to respond, I have no power. Right? America, the reason America is so powerful, because we're in a paradox. Powerful to do what the fuck I want in the world, but I also have to create security, safety and security for myself and others. How do I navigate that? That's where your vibration lands, in between the paradox of creating safe. Because I also have to do it free. I can't control you and tell you can't do that anymore, because you're taking advantage of the planet and everything around. It's like, that's just old way of being, of dominating the universe, instead of like having what I like to call win-win-wins. I have a win, you have a win, and everything in this environment must have a win to be the right complex decision. And it takes patience and dialogue to come up with a win-win-win. Most people, one win's good enough if it's me. There's got to be a loser. That's the way it goes. We both need to win. And that's why in relationships, it's not 50-50. It's 100-100. It's not like, oh, I'm trying to do it, but they're not really growing. I'm outgrowing my partner because they won't. No, that's not what it is. It's like, you need to respond 100% to them. You are not here to be loved or understood. You're here to opportunity to love and understand someone, that they become their best self. Right in front of me, because of the love I have. And when you do that, you're going to want to do it with another person, and another person, and another person.
And it's not even just people, because the way it is you have two positions, right? So it could be you and money. But what's the bridge between you and money is the relationship. That's third position.
Right.
And that's a bridge, and you decide, what do I bring? If you're only coming 50 because you're waiting for the other person to come other way 50, right? What are you going to get? You're not going to get the results you want. You have to be the one willing to go 100.
And you stop creating. You see, control, what people don't understand, the minute I opt for control, like, I'm putting 50%, where's your 50%? I'm not loving, I'm not coming up with a creative solution to move past this, and I'm not free. Now I'm totally, Trump is controlling all these people who are mad at him. No matter how mad you are, he's controlling the fuck out of you, because everything he does is pissing you off and making you scream and freak out and go picket and go tell all your friends, like, let's get him in peace. You're so caught up in that you don't even see the forest through the trees. Yeah. You just don't recognize I have a very poor relationship with authority. Trump doesn't bother me in the least. I didn't vote for him either. But I know he's the icon for how we're doing as a whole. He represents the icon on this computer screen. Here's what it looks like when we punch authority figure right now. We're railing against, say, baby boomers and their attitude. Because people aren't recognizing the power of the baby boomer, and they just don't like any of it. Because the millennials were a generation that could not supersede those guys. They were so hardcore, they went the other way. I'm not doing anything.
So that's why the millennials were so on board with Bernie.
Yeah.
Right?
They're mad.
Just went the opposite
They're mad,
direction,
and they want the power. Like, let's just take it away from them. Let's just force them to. It won't work. That won't work, because that's not how you do it. You need to let go of a generation's negative stuff and take what was awesome about them and implement it in to be more complex with the new not a separation from, but an understanding. We're at a higher level. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. We're another level. You must synthesize what was, release what wasn't. The baby boomers has amazing qualities that you'd want to have, but it needs to be uplifted, not just a win anymore. It has to be a win-win-win. Yeah. And you just take that will that they had, take that full-on balls to the walls, just go after what you want, but be coming from the right place now. And so if you separate from all that and judge all that and try to make it even, we're going to make it even. It's not going to work. The relationship, the universe is not, it's not really in a 50-50 black and white harmony. In order for it to create more for itself, it has to be out of balance. It It has to be out of balance to keep continuously creating. Human beings are the only thing out of harmony because you have the capacity to direct the harmony, to direct where it goes. And that's the power of being a God being. We need to nurture nature. You don't have to, like, if you just fill in the blanks, nature will help you. Many of the ancient great minds would just copy nature. Find out what nature's doing, understand, and then follow that road because it's the most elegant way to do it. If we were really like trying to elevate the planet, we would take care of your fucking backyard. If you don't have you have a balcony, make that balcony beautiful. Show your love for the environment. Put something, even if I'm only putting this much oxygen and this much beauty, do it. Quit telling everybody else they need to wake up and do it. Just do it and feel good with your relationship with nature. Feel good with the relationships that I'm developing around me. Feel good that my yard is the best looking one on the block because I love my neighborhood. And somebody else will get inspired and probably fix up their yard. And you can go, I see you're trying to help your yard. Let me help you, dude. I'm really good at this. Like, that's all it takes to be empowered in my own set of values. If I value that, then I must go after my value. I will feel wonderful on my way to change. It's a different paradigm operating here.
How do we create win-win-wins?
You have to sit there and dialogue. It can't be a dogma. You've got to say, like, why do you want Trump out? Because what? Right? Now I have to understand, because I don't like he's crass. Well, I see plenty of people fighting and arguing are plenty crass in their pursuit of arguing the pros and cons of the government, right? They're being arrogant. They're not listening. They're not. I mean, I have people all the time. You know, I don't get on Facebook very much anymore, but a lot of time I do just because I want to get into it a little bit and see. I want to push on the reality. You know, like I posted on a woman's thing purposely the other day, and I knew the whole thread was going to blow up. And it was like she did this long thing, shame dumping on a guy who gave her a massage. And he ended up having sex with her. And she felt like, oh, I can't believe he would do that. And I'm like, all I said was, like, didn't you allow it? Why are you posting and trying to shame him and posting your dialogue and saying he cut you off?
Yeah.
This is your problem. He doesn't want to talk to you, so what? You can't heal that because in case I have to be, he's got to release me. They said, you're not understanding. And everybody was just firing on me. Bam. You're so insensitive. You're just a baby boomer that you're the typical man we're trying to change. And I said, good luck with that. I was born in 1963. I'm a baby boomer, but I'm right on the cusp. I understand what's happening, and I also understand what I'm not letting go of. The willfulness, I want to be a man in a man's world. And that doesn't mean that women aren't included. You understand? You say that and everybody gets triggered. In a man's world, I know what that means. No, you don't. You know what your beliefs are around what that means, and you're experiencing them, but you don't know what I mean by it. You're not even taking the time to find out. Like my surf shop, and I opened with Surf Like a Girl. The first time I got a radio interview, they wondered like, oh, so you're basically demeaning women. You're saying surf like a girl, right? I was like, no, you're misunderstanding because I'm saying surf like a girl. Go out there and receive the water. Be that mermaid out there enjoying yourself, having fun while all the guys are hacking on the waves like they're... Go out there and just surf like a woman. You will change the whole industry just surfing like from your soul, from your heart, you go on the wave. Guys are like, I'm going. The girls are like, go, you go. Their whole vibe is different. And that's why I wanted to promote that. I wanted women to be in the water. There weren't even women wetsuits in 1999. I knew I was part of that, and I did it on purpose to be part of that. I wanted to create an image. So anyway, it's like acting off of preferences supercharges what you're going after, and it supercharges your limitations because the minute you stretch yourself, bam, you're going to get hit by the limitation that you were programmed with.
Well, what you were talking about was how to create a win-win.
Oh.
And win-win is function.
I go a long way around sometimes.
There's so much good stuff.
Yeah, so I'll give you an example. So a couple is trying to decide what movie to watch on a Friday night. And both of them pick a movie that they think this is the movie that I want, and then they get in an argument. It's got to be this or it's got to be that.
Or somebody martyrs.
Yeah. Or someone's like, okay, I guess
Because
because I want to get laid later. I
I'll
guess
do
I'll
what
watch
you
this,
want me to
right?
do.
Exactly. So then it ends up a whole manipulation game. Whereas if you were going on function, it's not the movie that's going to give you the feeling. You're saying, well, what's the feeling that I want tonight? You're not going for the movie. You're saying, what's the feeling? So then both people can sit there and talk about the feeling. Oh, I want to feel cozy. I want maybe a romantic, you know what I mean? I want to feel romance. I want to feel at home. I want to feel warm. And then that's where they merge. Like, oh, that, and then all of a sudden you'll connect with the movie. That is a win-win for both.
You don't compromise. That's the thing. But the adolescent says, well, then that's me being stubborn. And no. You don't compromise the function. You compromise the form.
So you have dialogue to figure out what the optimal function is.
So we both get our functions. It might be a third movie.
Yeah.
Or maybe not.
Or maybe not even a movie.
Yeah,
maybe
I mean, go for a walk in the
You
park
do
because we
something else.
realize
Yeah.
that
You
what
realize
we're trying to
that's
do
not
is
what you
connect.
Yeah.
And if we're going to connect, the movie's not really the best idea because we're going to sit there and watch the movie disconnected. You understand? Once you get to the function, you will find the form that resonates for you both. And now you're both making an empowered choice. That's a win-win.
Okay, so creating win-wins is dialogue about the function. So in a sense it'd be like, now what would you guys say about this? Having a more love-based dialogue around the trajectory of our world, like geopolitically.
Yeah. Everything.
What do you mean though? What?
Everything is a reflection of your beliefs. Every single thing in physical reality. I'm talking all of it. Like people can say, "Oh, I understand my own world," but how am I responsible for your feelings? Because I'm sharing the feelings, or we wouldn't be sharing the moment. So I'm going to respond to you appropriately. I'm going to be like, wow, I really feel your pain. Like maybe not say it out loud, but internally like a line to try to heal them, to try to get in alignment and get sympathy. Sympathetic is to be in simpatico. And as soon as we're connected, I can release that and you'll start releasing and you'll find your way just from me here sitting here listening. It's like to have a win-win, it requires to come from love and understand I can only change this reality. But once I get good at this, I can change the reality of a whole room full of people. I could change reality in a whole stadium. I could change the whole paradigm. It only takes one person to change the world. It's not like we got 8 billion people all doing the wrong thing. This is awful. 1%, 0.001% is awake right now. It's never going to... One person can do it all. I'm not worried. I know that I'm going to create this beautifully in the end. I'm not worried about Trump. I'm not worried about where the world... Look, I'm sad about the fire. It deeply bums me to watch those fires. But I know that's the adolescent inside just burning the fucking place down unconsciously because I'm sick of this. I hate it. I want it different. And there comes reality. Boom. Just burning down the thing that you're so afraid to lose. More forest. We're going to die because logic and reason is saying that's how the oxygen is. And all the logical linear thought, which is not even true. It's an illusion. Science does not even know what the fuck they're talking about for the most part right now. They're trying to come up with a way to create a paradigm that we could follow into the future. That paradigm is too slow. I can get real-time results in reality. Why am I going to need to prove myself that it works? Wow, I stopped the fires by meditation because I'll tell you, I did a lot of work this weekend, and as soon as the rain came and 40% of the fire was out by the time I came out of meditation. And I'll own that. I did that. You see, because I'm already trying to work on that level. I know I can change individuals in front of me. I know I can change a room full of people. I'm already working. Can I change the whole thing now? I'm more into that position because I've got the confidence, I've got the self-esteem. I've been doing this for 30 years. I died and put myself back in with this thinking. That took the opinion that I had and made it an experience. Now, there's nobody going to shake me off of this base. And so I'm not stubborn. I'm finding an answer for a win-win with everyone. I'm into it. I'm going for the functions, and people get mad because they want the form. I want that guy to be... I want all guys to recognize what it's like to be a woman that when I say no, you don't listen. And most of the time, if you're a woman wanting sex and you say no and you have sex anyways, you wanted sex or you never would have had it. You have to say, wow, I have a whole blockage trying to say no and trying to be in my power, and really, I just really want more sex than I want to say no. It's like they're not getting that because they're creating that. I say no all the time and they never listen. That's a different belief coming out. That's not a problem with men. It's a problem with my belief about men that are being shown to me and all the men I keep picking.
And people say that kind of way you're speaking is insensitive. Like the
Yeah.
one thing I would say is that it's so much more loving though, because
When it's in
when
real
he's talking
time.
like this, what he's saying is nobody is a victim. Like that, there's nothing
Yeah.
about what's being taught here that you're a victim. So even with the most hardcore tragedies, it's actually an act of love to say these insensitive things, because what it's really saying is you are so powerful and
Yeah.
you've created every moment of your life. Maybe you didn't know what you were creating, but now you can know. You
Yeah.
have an opportunity.
I
now.
know that. I'm not going to let anybody get away when I've got a chokehold on them, in essence. I'm hardcore like that. Because and I have to do that with the people that trust me, because there's times they're going to be so scared they want to go back to the patterns. Like, no, no, no.
We just ran into some of that too.
And then they'll realize they need an anchor. You need another human being to help sometimes, to be that resource, that sort. And see, mine is not coming from opinion. I'm like, ooh, should I push them right now? Maybe I should. This is getting really scary. They're really like something. No, I know what I'm doing. I'm creating reality, and I'm going to create the reality that you're healed.
Would we say that this is a adventure of the hero or the heroine into chaos in order for them to bring their gift more forth into the world?
Yep.
And as they go on to that process, there are those moments of just absolute uncertainty, fear, things coming up.
Yeah.
That's how you know you got past the
And then
line.
you need that critical anchor of a friend or a
Yes.
partner
A
or
group.
Intimate
Yeah.
relationship, either intimate with my business, intimate with money, it doesn't matter. I just have to have an intimate connection with something, and right now everybody's avoiding that because they're afraid.
When we were working, I was gonna drop off. I was like in the midst, and Liz saw it. But I had this person that I love and trust and I'm intimate with, able to anchor me when I was like in the midst of my adolescent and child, just running wild, and I didn't know what I was gonna do. I've had it with Rick, where there's been times when I'm just kind of like skipping back, and he's held the line for me and says no. Like in even a forceful way, where I've even felt like even angry and wanting to go to battle with
Even
him,
a
but it's
hardcore
okay.
12-hour into the night conversation.
Yeah, exactly. Where I'm like,
See,
fucking
I'm not
railing.
dropping the ball
Like-
because when they're there, I know this is their breakthrough. I'm gonna go and I'm gonna go, and that's me. That's my energy. And it's not coming
This
from an
is their
opinion.
breakthrough.
It's coming through an experience that I know they have to get through this, and so I'm loving them. And come on, where did you go just now? Where did you just go? You're worried, right?
And you ask them questions. This is a key
Exactly.
part of
We
the
have to figure it
process.
out first.
Yeah.
'Cause-
He can't
yeah,
teach
yeah.
I lead them with questions because once you are intimate with a person, you know where their limitations are. You know how they're going to view something. They don't have it. They're stuck in the set. You're outside of their set. You have every potential to help them see what they're not seeing. If you're close and not just coming from an opinion I read in a book, well, this is what I read in a book and I think you should do it. No, it's coming out of my relationship and my love for you and the trust that you have for me. And you see, that whole machine creates an exponentially different result. Like something you didn't even imagine you'd get out of it because of the resonance that's being.
Okay, so when there are moments of difficulty, we have better dialogue, more conscious dialogue, and ask questions to catalyze growth.
The questions you're asking should be to ask the reflection about yourself. Tell me more about how mad you are. Because you're like, I don't even see the anger. This person's so mad. I need to ask them to trigger myself so I can find my own rage. Like, what's bothering you so much right now? Please tell me. Well, I don't. And then you're like, oh, that tells me something. I can feel that. So your questions are really chasing yourself.
And what I want to just add to this though, because even when we were talking earlier about how you shift a belief and now the the person in the relationship you're with shifts as well, your souls are connected. Your souls are playing. The form is what's shifting, right? The form's so easy to shift. So if I shift my belief and I heal something, it's not like I'm changing that person, right? Oh, I didn't like that. Let's flip through. There.
Yeah,
that's
I'm
good.
trying to really manipulate the whole conversation
Exactly.
to get them into my line.
It's
of thinking,
because
but in the end,
I found something
that's
that
not
I
enough.
connected to that I was able to heal and align with, and now I'm feeling good, and my whole reality is different, but our souls are what's still connecting. So it's intimate, it's through love. So when he's saying, I'm asking someone a question, you're not trying to just get from them, right? It's not that kind of asking to find out about them. You're asking because you know our souls are playing a game.
Yeah.
It's coming with
you're
love.
trying to find the resonant connection inside yourself. Like, okay, I'm not conscious of my anger right now, but this person is. So let me ask some questions. To be like, why are you so mad? That's a negative judgment, basically saying, you're so immature right now.
Yeah.
No, like, tell me more. Why are you so mad?
Yeah.
You see, that's a same question, not the same.
Yeah.
Because you're
So
looking
coming from
inside,
love.
honestly, like, I need to find my anger so we could get on the same page right now. What are you angry about? Tell me more. And as soon as you find it, you're like, oh, I see that. I have to forgive that in myself. And then the person starts changing.
So this has been a lot about also interpersonal dynamics and about just that conscious reality creation. I want us to talk on. I want us to talk about source, specifically about what is this manifestation of source.
You only
What-
can manifestation your calibrated experience of source, because source is unlimited and you are. So you grow up with an idea of what source is that's been given. You adopt that situation, right? So now God is either an angry shithead bad dad, or I push that away and say there is no God, or I go with paganism and say it's really a goddess. It's like you don't really recognize that it is. In death, it's very clear to me that God is primarily feminine. There's a more significant part of what it is, the synergy between God, that is feminine. And there's not diminishing it. Air and fire represent spirit. Soul is represented by earth and water. It's more dense. It is a different thing, but together they create all that is. And so the masculine is the dynamism. Like when the God, like the way I like to say is when the goddess was just kicking it and was self-realized in the moment that she recognized she was God. I mean, I'm just giving you some example. The moment that she was blown out, and that minute of being blown out, the masculine was created in that moment, and from that moment on, everything was done together. It's a complex, source is a complex vibration. Source is so high and so much, if they were to enter right now, you would just fucking blow up immediately, because the vibration is so high, you would have to go meet them and you would lose your entire thing. So you create a rendition that you can relate to, but that's not God. That is only the way that you're relating to it. Because
Okay.
it's off creating other shit already. It gave you the spark of what it is, and it's out. It doesn't need anything else.
So we have our own unique communions with the higher power.
With the divine.
With
yes.
the divine.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
A rendition.
It's another set of beliefs.
So out of the 8 billion of us, maybe some people are just not connecting with a higher power, with the divine.
Most all 8
And-
billion aren't, or
and
we wouldn't be experiencing
With the
reality
issues
this way.
this way, yes. So it's almost as though the challenge level is cranked up to 11 right now, and it's like, how is there a consciousness
What's
transformation?
crank up to 11 is the fact that you're trying to expand in a new place and you have baggage. And this cannot go in that new space. So you're stretching yourself so hard it's creating pain. Pain is a function of a synergy between two aspects: separation from and longing for. That creates pain. If you unplug one of those, you won't be in pain anymore. It's that easy. I mean, theoretically. But what's happening is
The baggage
your
can't
limitations,
ascend into the next
right? Your
levels of
limited belief constructs cannot enter a new paradigm. And so what's happening is, since you still technically entered a new paradigm, reality is creating more intensely and faster than ever before, because you really are the God being. The past has already released itself, and you are actually in the mode of creating. So now it feels like the only way you have to frame that is the challenges are getting more hardcore than ever. No, your negative beliefs are being more realized more than ever. In order for me to change them, in order for me to really see the pain I'm in order for me to really understand how limited I feel, and you have to come to that realization in order for that paradigm to let go. And nobody's taught us that. Nobody taught us what it was to be an adult. That's why an adult is a self-authored, self-determined position. If you cannot move into adulthood, you cannot move into the new paradigm. So this one is going to shit real fast, but everybody knows there's some people out there living a dream. Some of my friends are crushing it. That's because you still have to create that. You still know the truth is I can have whatever I want, so no matter how bad it gets, there's always somebody in reality that's crushing it easily. You see, because you can't really create all of an untruth.
So how do more of us connect, so as we connect to the divine, higher power, more of us will connect to the divine and higher power. The more
Well,
we
your
can do
reflection will, if you really do it inside, you'll
Yeah.
just start meeting
You'll just
people
start
that are
meeting
connected.
people.
And you'll know
Yeah.
you're doing it.
Yeah.
If I keep doing it and nobody's connected and I'm an island of a man on my own, you're not doing it.
Yeah.
Oh, which is crazy. I forgot to tell you guys about this. We were having sushi with my parents on their anniversary, and I was telling them all about conscious reality creation and all this stuff. And then some dude sitting next to us was overhearing it. He was like, man, that's some crazy stuff. And he started going off, he started sharing. And he was like, where do you learn this stuff? And I was like, Rick Paris. He's like, oh, I know Rick Paris. He was like, local guy, right? Subconscious, all this stuff. And I was like, yeah. I was like, holy shit.
Oh my gosh, who is it? What's his name?
I forget his
Fail!
name.
Fail!
Yeah,
This is
I
so
forget his name.
exciting.
I know, but he
So
knew
you're
you
not
were. He
creating
saw
the
the
outcome.
videos, right?
You're not creating the outcome.
The outcome of what?
Well, it's like here I had this amazing thing happening to me, and I didn't keep creating the outcomes. I said, "Oh, that's enough. I had this amazing experience." Right?
Instead of connecting
yeah,
further.
follow. Here's the
yeah.
reality's coming
Yeah,
at me in
yeah,
such
yeah,
a beautiful
yeah,
way.
yeah.
Tell me more. What's your name? Let's
Yeah,
exchange numbers.
Yeah.
Right? You just didn't keep creating. See, most people will create an outcome and go, wow, the fire stopped. That's so awesome. But now what do I want? I want the government to change. I want to take this win and keep pushing the reality. To stay intimate with the experience and keep pushing it through, because it could go anywhere. I'm riding a wave right now. And so that's what I mean. To be an artist at conscious reality creation is to realize everything. I'm always creating the outcome. It's not enough just to get what I want. Win, we're done here. No, now what do I want with this? Now more. It's this or better, this or more. You see, most people, they'll be like, wow, I just had a win. I should just chill out because I could lose it. I mean, I'm so happy.
That was probably the place I hit, too, in the conversation somewhere.
Well,
like,
that was
where
awesome.
Where
What a great story. I have instead of like going, wow, this is my people.
Yeah, right.
Because most people do have a pretty strong belief that just enough, right?
Yeah,
It's like, as
well,
I
they
was
have a
going
belief.
after money,
Don't ask for
it's
more
like,
when
yeah.
you just got a
Yeah.
big win.
Yeah.
Don't be greedy.
Yeah, don't be greedy.
If you have a lot of money, please donate most of it.
Yeah,
It's like
like,
we're
give
not
it
allowed
away.
to just enjoy life. There's always this belief around, like, there's just
And
something.
if I don't give it away, everyone's going to think I'm a dick.
Yeah.
Because I'm killing it and I'm not sharing. You don't have to share shit. What you have to do is
And that's
live your life
triggering for
fully.
people, right?
If
It's
you're
like,
making
ugh.
$10 billion a year, do something awesome. Spend that shit just the way you want to make the world. Don't give it to somebody else to make the world a better place.
Right.
You're the one generating that. Why give it because we think that I'm a good person when I enable somebody else? No, that's probably some system that 3% of that money will get somewhere, and a bunch of other people are just taking that money and putting it in their pocket because that's the old paradigm. I'm going to set up a non-profit thing that other people are making money. I've seen plenty of nonprofits where they're getting a lot of money, and they're utilizing that money in a way that legally makes it look like they're not, but it's a game. It's a play, right? So it's like, you don't have to give anything. But like, if I'm going to make $10 million in my life, I only need $1 million a year. I still got to take responsibility for that $9 million I generated and keep, what am I going to do with this? Like, what am I going to do with this money?
I love that about if you get a big win, desire another big win.
Yes,
Yeah.
because
Keep
you're on
going.
the wave.
Yeah.
You're already in the zone to be creating that. It's the best time to ask for more. Not go back to the other belief. I should be happy with what I got. Because you see, I should be happy with what I got. No, you should want more. Because it's an illusion. You can have as much illusion as you want. But Right?
And this is I want this because I want to bring myself fully to the world. I want to unleash my gifts.
Exactly. This is a vehicle for me to be more in the world.
To be more in the world, yeah. To be my fullest
Because
potential.
if I make that much money, I don't want to do it, so I'm going to give it away. Everybody gets off my back, and everyone thinks I'm a good person because I did all that. And since I have so much money, it doesn't really matter anyway. They're not really being empowered individuals, you know, like...
And it's not preference. That's why it's like, do you
Yeah.
prefer to blow your money?
I'm
in
doing
Vegas?
this because
Then
these
do
other
it.
stupid people aren't able to...
Yeah.
I'm going to buy the forest up because everybody's so stupid. I mean, no, buy the forest up because I'm going to get a caretaker. I'm going to make this place beautiful. It's going to be a fucking park. It's going to have boundaries around it because this is what I love in the world and this is what I'm putting my money... Like, no boundaries. Just, no. It's got to be a framework. Everything in physical reality has a set. And it has to be recreated in a new set, So basically, the first thing you learn in conscious reality is I got to destroy a lot of shit and recreate. After you realize I can destroy with grace and elegance and love, not because I don't like it and I want it out of here, but because it doesn't serve me anymore and it did serve me for a long time. Religions were designed by people trying to fuck with human beings. It only looks like it from here because it's so limiting now. You stayed in the same pot too long. You're root bound is all that happened, and now you're looking going, it's the stupid pot. It doesn't have big enough for us. No, it did at the beginning. It was a beautiful idea. Human beings don't operate that way. But if the adolescent in you says, yeah, those guys have been controlling us for years and years, that's the adolescent getting, you're going down the wrong avenue for change.
So it's time for a larger pot for the roots to grow further.
A set.
A new set. And so then our set is constantly also iterating and becoming bigger and bigger to hold.
If you're doing it consciously, it will. If it's not, it'll keep narrowing you down. Like my challenges are almost unsurmountable now. You're doing the same thing, but you're not in charge on one end. Instead of going, wow, let me deal with this appropriately. People don't know what that means yet. The world is in a state of adolescence, moving into adulthood as a whole, in the macrocosm.
Yes.
So, if that's what needs to be, then that's what each person has to become in order to change the paradigm. All you have to do right now is be an adult. Not the adolescence version, I gotta do everything right, and I should do this, and I should pay my taxes, and I should get
And I should
10%
be angry.
Yeah, who wants to do all that shit? Nobody, so nobody's doing it, but they're mad that nobody's doing it. It's like, it's stuck in a set. They don't know how to get out, so there's a lot of static and chaos. You have to unplug yourself out of that.
And I've had this thought run many times, so it must be something I want to say. Because when you've asked questions about what the step is, the steps that usually been talked about are all the like really kind of positive looking ones. I think in general, and let me know if I'm wrong, the first step for most everybody is an incredible amount of rage. People are so fucking angry, so like don't worry about forgiveness right now. Because I remember when he was coaching me, I was talking about my dad, and I was like, oh, I'm ready to forgive him. And he's like, I think, a lot of anger, not yet, don't even go there. And I was like, no, I'm totally ready. Trust me, I feel so much love in my heart. And he's like, I don't think so.
That's actually...
So, anyways, it's
because
like...
I'm watching her reality. She's reframing a lot of things, and I'm like, there's still a lot of anger in your reality, but remember this, see this, say that, that's a function of anger. Mm-hmm. Unplug that, and it makes change you can see, because anger is so intense, it puts a cover in front of you that you can't access the compassion, sweet, and vulnerable parts of yourself. Mm-hmm. So it's putting this shield in front of you that you can't feel it. You can't go on without dealing with it either, because I can't move and I'm fine. It's gonna work. I can see over the fence. Just because I got my head over the fence doesn't mean that I'm done, because reality still looks like there's a lot of anger. So let me just keep doing that while I'm moving on. Not just, I have to deal with my anger. I can't do anything else except deal with my anger. No, you deal with your anger and you keep moving towards your preference. Because what'll happen, it'll release and you'll get a lot of, you're like, wow, I think I'm done with anger. You might be and you might not be.
No, probably not.
But it doesn't mean you will be done when you're done, and you'll see it. And it doesn't have to be perfect. Like, if it used to be that 50 people a day were raging in front of me, now there's one or two, that's good enough. I don't have to get every person not to rage at me. That's try and do it perfect again. Right? It just has to be good, well enough. I can receive now. I don't have everybody coming
But the deal is you hit it. That's the deal with your anger. You hit it because it was inappropriate for most people. So because you hit it, your reality hit it from you too. Your subconscious is going to make that happen. So once you start choosing to be conscious of your anger, it will start showing up, right? Because right now you may feel like you're not angry, and I don't know, whatever you may or may not be. I'm not putting that on you, but you may feel that you're not because your reality isn't actually bringing it to you much because you told your subconscious at a certain point, hide this shit from me. So once you start actually diving into your anger, it'll just start popping up.
Oh no, but they see it. It's just that's why it's on TV.
No, it's true. It's true.
Because again, it's
out here.
Just
it's out here.
not you're in your house doesn't mean it's not you. So if you're seeing it, it's
it's part of you.
It's true.
Just because I don't care what's going on out there in my house, that's still you.
What is the role of free will?
You're a God being. That's all it is. God took you, and you, at the same time, when God decided to split itself in a million pieces, it was releasing you from itself that you can go be something unique and individual. And so you leave. Now, when you leave, just like you're in this beautiful place, everything is taking care of me, I'm part of God, everything's awesome. Now when I'm not, God doesn't have to come and teach you how to be God. You have to receive being God. So you've never been on your own before. I've never been a spark of conscience separated from the whole before. So what I do is, when all of a sudden I'm not being catered to every desire I have, I contextualize that as something's wrong. Something's wrong here. I mean, I'm not getting it right. And then so as a parent, you go up and your kid's 2 years old and you say, they throw a fit in the storm. You go, you knock it off right now. And you just, boom, you slam that kid inside right then because you're God for all intents and purposes. So that kid goes, I don't want to get mad. So, right, there's all this inappropriate, you're stuffing anger for the rest of your life because it's not appropriate to express that shit because my parents taught me not to. So free will has now been directed by a God being, my parents, because that's the game you're playing. Right? I come out of them. You're mimicking what you did to be a free-willed person. So once you separate from God, God is all it is, now you're in chaos. And so I have to learn how to put myself in harmony and learn that when I want something new, I have to put myself back into chaos, and then I have to go back into harmony. I have to put myself into chaos. See, everyone's trying to avoid chaos because they don't like it, because they don't realize I'm a God being. I have to get very comfortable with chaos. I have to understand, wow, when reality is chaotic, that means the boundaries are loose right now, and they're completely moldable. But if I don't let chaos come in, they're too hard. I can't move them around if I'm not willing to let chaos, right? So free will creates chaos, because it directs you out of harmony or in harmony. Yeah. So you have to have a free will in order to be a reality creator. Otherwise, you'd just be doing what your mom wanted all along.
What's the role of good and evil?
There is no such thing.
No such thing?
No, there's no such thing. Reality is 100% good.
Okay.
You're projecting your belief constructs that negativity is a human... God is a word I'm looking for. Negativity is 100% generated by the human mind. There's nothing negative out there. There's no evil in the universe except what we contextualize it to be.
So nature vibrating in harmony is just beauty and love. Yeah. And then we just contextualize. It's the
adolescent trying to figure out reality in a black and white state. Adolescents don't like gray. It's this or it's that. Let's just agree on that, because they don't want a gray area, because that gives everything crazy talk. Now everything's crazy because we're not agreeing. We just need to agree on something and move forward. So do you agree that the laws of thermodynamics are in place? Okay, yeah, let's just for the argument. You know what I mean? It's like the adolescent is trying to get agreement in order to feel better about their position. Outside validation. So free will is not operating anymore because you're going for validation.
It could also be true to say that if you believe in evil, then you still believe there's a victim.
Yeah.
Because
There's a
no
power out there
victim,
greater than me.
If you are generating it all and it's all for you to understand something about yourself and it is done out of an act of love, it's not evil, because most people identify evil as if you harm somebody, then that's not okay, right? But we're trying to say that there's nobody harming you but yourself. You did it to yourself. You created it, so that's why it's not evil.
Evil and good is just separation. That's all you did. You separated from
Yeah,
yourself.
you just separated two things
And
to find one is good and one is bad.
So I can throw this over here, and I can throw this over here, and I know that what to do with this and what to do. It's actually just control.
As soon as I call someone the ego, I can't change that. How am I going to change pedophilia? I mean, that's evil shit. Maybe the paradigm we live in isn't appropriate. You know, the reason that priests have sex with boys is because they're closing their sexuality off. Since sexuality is a part of the human animal and the human being, and it's actually the fastest way to enlightenment is through your sexuality. If I inhibit that in somebody, they're going to, if I say you can't be with women and you can't be, they're going to shame and they're going to take it underground. And since the only people around are other boys that are trying to do this, let's all have sex with boys. Let's all keep it underneath. We don't tell people what's going on because we need to have sex. We need to grow. And see, so it gets twisted, it gets distorted, and then of course everyone calls it evil. It's just a distorted form of love because I'm not able to express myself more fully. There's only a dark avenue, so the love has to come through a dark avenue.
But this is one of the hard things I think for people to drop, because I mean, for me, I come from a family that has a history of sexual abuse in it, and to tell someone, especially someone that you care about, that it was you who created it, you know what I mean?
Hardcore.
Like that's nuts, right? Like, how am I gonna tell someone who just went through rape or molestation or anything like that, you created it?
No, they didn't create it. That's the thing.
They allowed it.
They allow it.
But
you either create reality or you allow reality. That's the only two ways this machine functions.
But you're still responsible no matter what.
Because you allowed it. I still allow that.
You create reality or you allow reality. Right. Okay, and then what about the role of finding meaning and bringing gifts forward?
You don't find meaning.
Okay.
That's what the adolescent does.
So,
I need someone to give me meaning. You find meaning in yourself, and you look for the reflection
in
of meaning.
yourself.
Yes.
Yeah. So there's an inherent gift that can be uniquely expressed into the world, and so then it's about expressing that, but it's about also kind of finding that within what that gift is. Yeah, so it's not about finding it externally, but finding it
as soon as you do that, you've already done the opposite. You put the machine in reverse.
Is that the purpose of this entire experience of Source, is for us to have some sort of a maximization of conscious experience or creativity?
No, it's a maximization of significance. See, what is reality? It's light and matter. If I make something matter so much, what's the thing you tell somebody when they're all super deep in their shit? You're like, dude, you gotta lighten up. You gotta get back into the paradox in between the two things to get movement. I gotta lighten up. Now, if I'm all light and all airy-fairy and woo-woo all the time and I'm not grounded, then you tell people, dude, you need to ground. Mattering is simply emotional significance. That's what, and it takes emotional significance for something to take form. And so you need to learn how to use your mind to create emotional significance imaginatively. And then the thing will come towards you. It looks like it's coming towards you, but you're actually manifesting it. Reality is just mirroring who you are inside. You just get better at that and watch this thing do it. That's really it in a nutshell. It's just there's lots of processes, because if I really don't know how to forgive and I don't know how to trust people and I don't know how to be intimate, I can't make the machine work very well. So I need to understand forgiveness is a process. I need to understand trust is a process, getting better at. I need to understand how to be loving. I have to understand that it's about me understanding others, understand the reality, love the reality from here, and then watch it change. It's like, it's a different way to operate. It's everybody knows we need to be more emotional, we need to feel more. But not feel more of the same shit I've been feeling all along. I have to feel new shit that I have to come up with, because that stuff I've sucked the life out of the past. It's just so much dead and so good. It's like most people grow until they just can't fucking take that shit anymore. Instead of like growing when it's easy. As soon as I recognize that I'm feeling some limitation, let me look at my beliefs. Let me change my beliefs. Let me change it when it's easy and you have time, because if you don't change it, the spiral gets dense and it gets stuck, and before you know it, I got cancer and I've got to change my job and I got to change my diet and I got to change my way I feel with my husband, maybe even leave them to heal myself, because I wait so long to respond because I'm not understanding what reality is reflecting to me.
Guys, this has been such a good conversation.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, conscious reality creation is a great way to put this. And I think, self-authoring is such a critical way of perceiving the world, taking full control, taking full sovereignty over our beliefs and how they create our experience and how they create our reality. It's just a gorgeous way of perceiving.
I only came back to share. I didn't even have to be here right now. But I knew this was an opportunity for me to see more of my own love in play again. Like, wow, now that I actually had an opinion and it worked and I saw and I put myself back in physical reality because I understood the beliefs, I understood what was outside, inside, I was able to put myself back here consciously. It gives me an experience to share so I can hold a line that no matter what, because like when it's only an opinion, you'll get us to a point where you're scared, like, wow, I never get scared. I don't care fuck what's going on. You know what I mean? It's like, if somebody came in here right now with a gun and I would just say, dude, what's going on? I would be like, I would just be right here in reality and keep working it through. Because I know I could make all this go away from the inside right now. I have to understand, wow, I'm really aggressively mad right now to want to dominate something like that, right? I would be working so fast that I would end up fixing the problem. I'm not afraid of any of that anymore. Matter of fact, I'm enjoying more and more being in situations where people see me react from the hip and go, wow, because I'm coming from a different set. It's not like I had to think about. I don't think about what I'm going to say next. I don't think about what I'm going to talk about here. A little bit, just like, hey.
Well, that's dealing with form. What we do is we set function.
How do we want to feel like this interview?
What's the quality that I want to go into with, right?
It was Grace's idea to talk about the imagination. Her and I decided last night together, what do we want to talk about tomorrow? I said, because technically, this is not a judgment. Don't take it that way. Maybe you won't anyway, but I want to say that. But I was like, well, Alan hasn't told us anything about the interview. So it's like, I realized in that moment, I have to take more responsibility for the interview because I want it to go well, and I can't expect somebody that doesn't understand the set to really know how to engage in the set. But if all of us are there, there'll be a different way for him to relate. He'll see it from a different position than just listening to Rick Paris. And so we all came to a loving place, just like, okay, let's just share. And I said, I'm going to try to not talk the whole time. I want you guys to express. I want them to see you. You are the fruits of my love in a way. I want you guys to go I'm doing my reality perfectly. I will, and I am stepping out in the world, but the more close and the more beautiful this is, the easier it is for me to take more responsibility out there because I have a support system. I have people that love me and I love them, and we are growing together and watching ourselves. Like just a month ago, somebody in our group, $200,000. Somebody in our group, $400,000 chance that there's real realities popping just being who we are. It's like, I only share that because it's a powerful thing to share, not like, look what we're doing. No, it's a powerful part of our relationship together. Being real with each other, loving each other, like being honest, like vulnerably honest, like.
Yeah.
Well, it's a spiritual family. That's
this is a chosen family. I don't engage my birth family. There's nothing left there for me. I can't really, let's say, if I didn't create the reality that my mom asked me not to come around anymore, I never would have left. I would have been always trying to make it better, make us work better, and then finally it was like they didn't want to play. They're like, we're Southern Baptists, we have a very fundamental construct. We don't know who the fuck you are. You're not the same person we do. I had to agree. Okay, I will graciously walk away. And it was such a gift because I realized, that was a lot of energy trying to get my family to heal and understand, and it was too much.
Yeah. Damn. Wow. So this is it seems as though then spreading around the sovereign belief that creates experience and creates a reality through conscious reality creators on both YouTube, and so you guys will be having more content coming up. You'll also be, is it going to be like both Elizabeth and Andrew taking on additional people that can come through the platform to work with the...
What do you mean, like?
They're going to be talking. We're going to be moving the YouTube videos into a group discussion just like this.
Yeah,
interesting.
We want to do a show similar to this, actually. Yeah.
This is great. So there's going to be the different people that you're working with are going to come on the live set with you guys, and
we won't even do call-ins and stuff like that.
Yeah, we want people to call in.
We want to process.
Okay, so you'll do call-in processes. Yeah. Okay, so
that's very powerful when someone sees how to process with this, and other people are listening to it. It's very powerful.
It is, yeah. This
because it's real time.
The butterfly effect of transformation is just so powerful. Okay. So the conscious reality creator will have both call in. It'll have the show. Will continue on the website and YouTube. But then there's also an interpersonal for those that are maybe local. They can come and do interpersonal relation.
Well, yeah, connect with us and connect with Rick.
Whatever we're open to. The form is not so important. It's how we're feeling about what we're sharing.
Yeah.
And one thing I just want to say that Rick decided to do with all this stuff was just to share it all.
Yeah.
Because you know what I mean, like
instead of
share,
paywall it and all
exactly share it all.
If you want one-on-one, yeah, great. Let's pay for it. Let's do this together. But I'm going to put everything I can out there.
Likewise, yeah.
And so, but at the same time, I also know it's very hard. Even if you listen to everything, it's like it took me almost 30 years, like to really get good and understand it, and a death experience and everything. Where these guys are just getting the cream of the cake all the time. I don't teach them I just teach them what they need to know on their way, and they're all thriving and experiencing their life so beautifully that I just want to be the resource for them. I just want to see them come and boom, 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 And so what's happening is without an intimate relationship that's built out of the adult. Like, how often do we get in relationships and we know that's my mom or that's my dad or that's the same man every time? Because that's the adolescent creating those relationships, not the adult, because the adult knows what I need, what I want, and what to ask for. I'm not afraid to do it out of the sake of intimacy. I have to be vulnerably honest to this person, right? There's a bunch of structure to do this.
I'll give you an example. Both these people came in my life here because I asked for it. So first Liz came in my life. I wanted to heal with women. That was my intent. And I said, okay, I want a woman to come into my life to heal with. Liz came in, I was like 3 weeks later, started shooting with us and working with us.
And you asked for a Korean or something.
Yeah, no, I wasn't Korean specifically. And then I wanted to heal with the masculine. I want a male teacher. That's what I asked for. And then it was like 2 weeks later, Rick was on some thing live on Facebook or whatever, and I had already heard about him through Liz, but connected with him and he had a program available to go into, and that's how it all started. But it's conscious choice, right?
Yeah, and so I'm just opening to receiving, right? Because when you're artistic at this and you don't do it first, a lot of people, I'm just going to receive. The whole point of getting in a centered transcendental space is to be connected to Source and then demand to create a reality with Source. And you come out with a new experience, not just get in there and hang out and sit there and be all
That's so beautiful, actually. Yeah, not just sit in and just
disconnected. Disconnected.
It's as though it's that second part that's so critical, is the conscious reality creation with Source after doing that divine connection.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
What are we doing together? Because the goddess always says yes, anything you want. You want cancer? Okay. You're not really hurting yourself. This is the illusion to play being God. You're here to play with something that's totally mutable. You're not hurting yourself. I mean, it hurts when you're here, but I mean, in the big picture, you're not hurting yourself. You're here for an experience that looks real, so I can understand who I am and watch what I create. Because really, what people don't get when they're here, you're here on the physical plane because you are a fucking maverick. You are a high-end consciousness on the other side, doing something most consciousness is not going to even bother to do, be physical. Because you are stepping down the resonance so deep and so low, you're so far from Source right now, you can't even remember that you came from there. in order to create something new, in order to really, this is my universe. When you die, this is over. You don't have a legacy. You didn't help anybody. Really, you didn't do anything except engage in reality. Because you now, as quantum physics suggests, it depends on the observer. If you remove the observer, there's nothing there anymore. When you remove yourself from possibility, the physical reality goes back to possibility and just waits for another spark to mirror itself from. And all of us have our own universe. It's not all a sharing. You're creating that it's a consensus. You're creating that because you're trying to make sense out of 8 billion different parts of myself. So you're making it look like this in order to navigate it.
All of us have our own universe.
Yes.
And a shared as well?
It's like bubble bath. Now we're sharing it because we're sharing. When I walk out the door and you're here, we're not sharing a universe anymore.
Yeah, okay.
That's what I'm saying. Your souls are playing with each other. So when the form shifts, you're not looking at it as, oh, I did something.
Even your soul is not even super into your relationship with other people. Your soul is only interested when you are loving the person. When you are intimate, now the soul pays it. Because all of this is your soul. All of this and all the lifetimes you can live and not lived and possibly, your soul is like dipped in all of them. It's just waiting for one of those things to wake up so I can focus.
So when you start becoming intimate with your entire reality,
now
that's
your
when the soul
is,
starts making
yeah,
a
now you're
connection.
understanding how important nature is, because nature is a reflection of soul. And so you're like, oh, I want to be more. I love it out here. You start getting filled by beauty. This is your soul talking. When you cry at the jungle burning, this is your soul weeping with you. When you something so beautiful, you cry. Your soul is right next to you, right there.
So that's what happens. So if I'm going for something like I want to connect and make more money, right? That's a goal of mine. If I get intimate with money, my soul will then pay attention. And the soul is the receiving aspect, right? So that's where it'll start coming from.
Your
It's
soul
through
will
my
say,
soul.
oh, this is what you like, and you're loving it, and you're doing it really beautifully.
Oh, so you're changing. Yeah, I understand that more. So now even in your relationship with money, maybe I have some anger and some resentment because I didn't have money growing up and all that different stuff. So I have a negative relationship with money. But once I got intimate with my reality, meaning I'm going to look at my reality right now, get intimate with it no matter how bad it looks. Maybe I'm really struggling with money right now. And that's when I engage my soul into it. That's when I actually am able to heal and change it. I understand that deeper now.
See, your soul,
it's crazy.
All possibility. Your soul is outside of space and time, so everything within physical reality is a reflection of your soul. So this is a lot of information in this lifetime and millions and unlimited amount of other ones I could be experiencing. So your soul is just like dreaming, waiting for one of those things to come home. The minute that it comes home, it's like, oh, I'm waking up to myself. So let me engage, because right now it's just a sea of possibility. And since we haven't woke up yet, this is the time that human beings are actually waking up. Your soul wants to come in more than ever before, because you are in the position to wake up. And so now you're burning the jungle. It's like you're going to realize that the world is not working the way you think it is. Global warming is not a function of us being shitheads and don't know what the fuck we're doing and judging human being. It's coming out of the earth is the space we live on. If we're going to make a quantum leap, the earth has to go through a transition first, because we're here. It's birthing the new paradigm for us. When a woman goes into labor, her temperature goes up, her hormones go crazy, the earth is going through a shift. The weather is going to be a function of your emotionality more than a pattern. You're going to be able to change it.
Cool.
Yeah, just such a rocking conversation across all these complex topics about conscious reality creations. Let's do another catch up. We'll do another session maybe in the next couple of months towards the winter or later in the first part of the year, because it'll be good to see how things have been synthesizing for you guys, and then also how it's been coming for us, and see where we interplay again in the next conversation, because this one was
this was fun.
This was
fun. Yeah, this is cool.
Yeah, a lot of fun. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. We greatly appreciate it. We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below on the episode. Let us know what you're thinking. Do check out the links in the bio to consciousrealitycreator.com, also to their YouTube page. Check out those links in the bio. And also, have more conversations with your friends, families, coworkers, people online about conscious reality creation, about the topics that we talked about in the show. Manifest that future that you have within you. Bring your gifts forth.
Yeah, can I just say a little?
Yes.
If you are feeling that and you know you want change and you are resonating with this, then call.
Yeah.
Get on this.
Yeah.
I promise you, with every ounce of my physical illusion, I am teaching what's next. Maybe I'm not the only one out there, but I am teaching what's next, and I can help you get out of this paradigm, and I'm ready to do that.
Yeah.
So if it resonates, follow through. Just follow through with it, and you will find your way.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
This is new.
Yeah. I love the call to action at the end. That's such a critical part of this. Is take that the initiative of moving forward into the new paradigms. Yeah. And also support the artists, the entrepreneurs, the spiritual leaders, the organizations around the world that you believe in. Support Conscious Reality Creator, support Simulation. Our links are below. You can support us on PayPal, Patreon, cryptocurrency. All those links are below. Also, you can design cool merch and get paid. All stuff's below. And build the future, everyone. Manifest those dreams into the world. Sign up for Conscious Reality Creator. We love you very much. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you soon. Peace.
I was gonna throw the condoms in the air.
Have fun.
Do it. Throw it. It hasn't ended yet. Throw them.
Should I?
Throw them.
Okay,
Throw them.
They're all in my pocket
Throw
here.
them. Ready. Set.